Oh, hello, this is the Burt Locker. I am Burt Green. This is going to be a casual guide to UFC Vegas 77 coming our way this Saturday. Now, obviously, after UFC 290, it might be as good, as high as a fight card is possible to get. This is not that. This card is a little bit of a come down, I'm not going to lie. Look, when your main event is, with the greatest of respect, an aging Holly Holm taking on Bueno Silva, who is good, but she's ranked 10. Like, rank 3 versus rank 10? That's your main event? Come on, guys. That's just... It's not a great card. The only thing this card might be remembered for is that it might be remembered as the debut of Viktoria Dudakova, who's... this Russian undefeated lady who's just an absolute savage. I'm looking forward to seeing her because I want to see how she does against UFC competition. But anyway, we must truck on. I'm recording this on a Friday night. I should have done this earlier on in the week. I'll be honest, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I debated even doing this video at all, but I'm here. So please watch and subscribe. That'd be pretty nice. Let's see what UFC Vegas 77 has to offer. We're going to start off in the ladies' bantamweights. Ashley Evans-Smith taking on Ailin Perez. 5'8", plays 5'5", with a 1.5 inch reach for Perez. Now, Ashley has her own podcast called Sex and Violence. It's good that she has things outside of fighting because that 6-5 record, it ain't great, is it? I mean, people rag on Brock's record, but I mean, he only fought against 2 guys that didn't at least contend for a title, and I don't think Evan Smith is fighting that kind of competition. So 6-5 in the minor leagues, this might not be for you. Anyway, Perez, she seems like a little bit better. She lost her first UFC fight, but she does have a few wins to her name. Who cares, really? Evan Smith by knockout, why not? Alex Munoz taking on Carl Deaton, 155-pounders, 5'9", plays 5'7", 3 inch reach for Deaton. Alex Munoz, his nickname should be Long-Haired Chandler because he put a wig on Michael Chandler. I'm telling you, look at that dude. Put a wig on Michael Chandler. Have you ever seen them in the same place at the same time? I haven't. Have you? You know, it could be Michael Chandler in a wig, honestly. Deaton, speaking of hair, has terrible hair. He's got a horrible haircut. That's why I remember him. So maybe it's the best haircut because I do remember him because he's got a terrible haircut. He's got a few good submissions. He got messed up by Joe Solecki, though. Joe Solecki really did have his way with him. I'm going to gamble on Long-Haired Chandler here by knockout. I'll do. Tyson Nam taking on Azat Maksum, 125-pounders. Glad to see Tyson Nam back, to be fair. I do like Tyson Nam. This is one of the names on the card where it piqued my interest. I was like, ooh, Tyson Nam. He's a hard-hitting flyweight, man. He can crack, especially to the body. His body shots are nasty. Big fan. Unfortunately, Nam is being fed to a killer from Kazakhstan who is 16-0 with 12 finishes. Look, don't let the UFC stat guys fool you. Like, he's not 0-0 like they have on the website. He is a solid 16-0, undefeated, with 12 finishes next to his name. If he's anything like his fellow countryman Shavkat Rakhmonov, then he's going to be a real problem. Look, Maxim by submission or however the hell he wants to win it. I want Nam to win. Nam's a tough guy to put him in there for his UFC debut, to be fair. This is a good litmus test, but, I mean, dude's a monster, so Maxim by submission. Evan Elder taking on Genaro Valdez, 155-pounders, 5'10", plays 5'9", with the reach both being 72 inches. Elder had his last fight stopped due to a cut. He wasn't happy about it, but he was getting beat up, to be fair. His kickboxing's pretty good, though. Valdez is a bit of a killer. I watched his highlights on YouTube. He can crack, and he seems to be good at taking the back. He gets those high percentage submissions. So, look, 10 wins, all finishes. He looks like he could be in a cartel as well. He's Mexican. It all helps. It's all a rich tapestry. It all does help. Valdez, for me, Clive, knockout. That's how I'll do it, I think. Then you've got another very good fight, actually. This one will be a good one. Jack Della Maddalena taking on Basil Hafez. Now, not so much it will be a good fight. It's just nice to see Jack Della Maddalena on the card. JDM, I'm going to call him because he's a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, look, he's a talent. I said last week he was supposed to fight on UFC 290. He had 2 opponents pull out, so they've moved him over to this card. It's nice that he made the trip all the way from Oz, and he's still going to get a fight, because that would suck, wouldn't it? For you to be ready to not get a fight, but through no fault of your own. Also, he's one of the biggest talents at welterweight. He really is. He's so good. His boxing is ridiculously good. I mean, I'm in agreement with Nick Pete. His boxing might be good enough for boxing, and there's very few MMA fighters you can say that about, honestly. So certainly not Francis Ngannou. I'll tell you that. Anyway, his boxing's so crisp and so good. He generates more power in his punches. Probably the most power at welterweight since Rumble Johnson used to cut down there. Not enough words to describe how much I'm a fan of JDM. Hafez, fair play for taking the fight, honestly. He's got some pretty good submissions, at least on the regional level. I've watched his YouTube. He does like to grapple. He's probably his best bet against JDM, to be honest. He probably doesn't want to stand with him. For me, I'm happy to just see JDM fight. I don't see it going any other way than a highlight reel knockout for JDM. But look, Hafez, he's not coming here to lose. So, you know what? It could be interesting. Austin Lingo then takes on Melquizael Costa, 145 pounders, 5'10", plays 5'10", with a 1-inch reach for Costa. Austin Lingo is a solid all-rounder. He's not spectacular in any area. He lost to Landwehr, who I don't really rate, but he is competent. Costa, he's been pretty good on the regionals, so good that they put him in against Moises in his debut. That shows how much the UFC think of him. Costa by submission for me in that one, I think. Then you've got Victoria Dudakova taking on Estela Nunez in the 155-pound division. Now, Dudakova, she's an undefeated Russian European champion, medalist. She's a killer, right? She's an absolute killer. She's a smoke show as well, actually. She really is quite attractive. She's got great wrestling, great submissions, 6-0. There's a lot of hype behind this girl on the regional scenes in Europe. I'm interested to see how this one pans out. This one might be one to point back to, do you remember when Dudakova debuted on that nothing-y card at UFC Vegas 77, and now she's like, you know, the longest reigning champion of all. She could be that fighter. She really could. Look, Nunez, no relation to Amanda. 3 UFC fights, 3 losses. She's kind of being thrown to the wolves here. No question for me. Dudakova, by submission, might be the safest bet on this card, honestly. Tucker Lutz taking on Milsik Bagdasaryan. Okay, I think I've got that just about right. Anyway, 145 pounders. 5'8", plays 5'9", with a 2-inch reach for Lutz. Now, Lutz is a physical 145er. He's got a decent record, 6 knockouts. He's a thick, physical guy who does possess power. Lucky for Lutz because he's up against an Armenian murderer who might actually be a real-life murderer. You don't know. Those Armenians, man, they'll take your foot. I'm a big fan of The Shield. There's an Armenian drug guy who likes to take people's feet. Maybe this guy likes to do that as well. Who knows? Either way, 5 of 7 wins by knockout. The head kick over Anglin was particularly good. If you go back and watch that fight, really nice. Anyway, I'm going to take the Armenian by knockout in that one. Nassim Sadiokov against Terence McKinney, 155 pounders, 5'10", plays 5'10", with a 4.5-inch reach for McKinney. Sadiokov he's pretty slick. He switches stances a lot, which allows him to throw some interesting combinations, especially the left and right over the top. McKinney's a wild card fighter. He really knows how to throw combinations well, especially mixing in his kicks. At kicking range, he's particularly dangerous. 13 wins, all finishes. He's good at taking the back as well, those high percentage submissions. Sadiokov is quite a good slick striker. I think he probably catches McKinney here because McKinney's got a habit of leaving those hands low. Now, I would normally say that's the prelims and here's the main card, but let's be fair, guys. These are all prelims. Everything up to the main event, these are all prelims. Make no mistake. But could you do me a favour? Just hit subscribe. That'd be real nice, wouldn't it? Real nice. Don't think about it. Hit subscribe. Because you get weekly content. Do you know what I mean? I do cover all the fights, every fighter. You know, you get a lot of information from this channel. These are designed so that you can get more out of the events when you're watching them, and you at least know a couple of the fighters. Maybe there's a couple that you'll pick out that you'll keep an eye on. It's for your enjoyment. I usually have more energy than this. For that, I don't even apologise. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. Just come on, give me a break. Otman Azater taking on Francisco Prado. 5'8", plays 5'10", 2-inch reach for Prado. This is... don't even know what weight class these are, honestly. I forgot to check. Anyway, Otman, he's the dude that got cut for breaking lockdown rules. He is elite level at cutting wristbands. I'll say that. Anyway, seriously though, he is a monster. 10 of 13 by knockout. He throws heat. He's got nice over-the-top bombs. His left hook especially is a problem. Prado is a killer though. He got caught out by Malaki, but that is a high-level debut. Like, if they're putting you in against Malaki in your UFC debut, they think a lot of you. Prado throws spinning back kicks, knees up the middle. He's got nice ground and pound, wicked elbows from the top. He's got 11 wins, all finishes. He's a monster, man. I think that we see Prado get back on track here. I think we see a knockout for Prado. Norma Dumont taking on Chelsea Chandler, 145 pounders, 5'7", plays 5'8", 1-inch reach for Chandler. Dumont is solid, good groundwork, and uses it to dominate decisions for the most part. Chandler, no relation to Michael. She's pretty good. She throws heat. She's tough in fights. She fights out Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Stockton, California. You know, the Nick Diaz. 209. What? 209 Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Just because she is repping Stockton, I'm gonna take her for the knockout. Just for that reason. Albert Dudayev taking on Junyoung Park, South Korean, 185 pounders, 5'11", plays 5'10", with a 2-inch reach for Durav. Durav, he's a Sambo Russian killer, really. He's got the danger beard. He's got it all when coming from that part of the world. He does hit a lot of low kicks actually. He changes levels a lot, disguising his overhands over the top, similar to what Josh Emmett does. Do you know what I mean? Like he kind of, it looks like he's shooting for a takedown, so people will block the takedown and he'll come over the top with a left and with a right. Really nice, and he also attacks low leg kicks really well. He's a very, very complete fighter, is Duraev. He's a problem in that division. Park he's the Iron Turtle, apparently. A solid nickname. I actually like that. That's pretty nice. He's very well rounded. He's got a good sized middleweight. He does stand well, and he does have good takedowns, good ground transitions, but he does leave himself open to low kicks, which is something that Duraev does really well. Now, purely because Duraev tends to leave his leg open to low kicks, and Duraev's just a very complete fighter. I'm going to take Duraev to get the knockout in that one. And then you've got the main event of the evening, if you can call it that. Holly Holm taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. 5'8", plays 5'6", 25-inch. It's not 25-inch reach for Holm, is it? 2.5-inch reach for Holm, I believe. Anyway, Holm, we know she's a beast, right? How she's still going at her age? She's just well-rounded. Great boxing career she had, and then she's turned that into a great MMA career. She throws head kicks really, really well. We saw her, she's got a great fight IQ. She'll take the fight wherever she feels she can win it. We saw her against Megan Anderson, where she started just using the takedown and using her wrestling and using her strength. She's physical, she's fast, she's just very well rounded. She's a very tough proposition in that sport. And now that Nunes has retired, the door might be open for Holly Holm to capture that belt one more time before she leaves the gloves in the octagon. That's how I see her career going at the moment. Now, Silva, she's a submission wizard. She loves taking limbs. She specialises in the limb submissions. So your arm bars, your knee bars, your straight ankle locks, all those things, she does really, really well. And she will, if you give her one of your arms or legs, she's probably going to take that shit home with her. I don't see any surprises here, honestly. I think Silva, look, she's going to try and take an arm or a leg, but Holly Holm, she's too smart. She's too cerebral to get caught like that. I don't think that Holly Holm leaves the opening that Silva requires in order to get the win in this one. So I am going to take Holly Holm by decision, maybe a knockout in the later rounds, maybe a head kick knockout in the rounds 4 or 5, but outside of that, decision or knockout for Holly Holm. And that is UFC Vegas 77. Not a brilliant card in terms of star power, but does that mean that the fights won't be brilliant? Absolutely not. There could be some absolute barn burners here. You've got JDM on the card, and also, you've got the debut of guys like Vikrola Dudarova and who was the other guy, the Kazakhstan guy? I've forgotten. I've forgotten who it is. Who the hell is it? Oh yeah, as at Maxim. As at Maxim might be someone else that you'll see again in the future. But yeah, so this is a card of some possible new prospects. So I'm putting a nice good spin on it. Anyway, that's about 15 minutes. Do me a favour, hit subscribe, comment, let me know who you're going to be betting on. I'm going to be doing some terrible bets tomorrow as well, because I love doing terrible bets. And yeah, until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible. Thank you for watching.